Hello, online friends, and welcome to today's Forms Love and True. Love and true hold a special place in people's heart. Only true. Peace can be awakened by love from the heart. We invited two co-speakers today. They wanted to share their experience of growing up in the loving environment of Tai Ji Men, but being treated illegally by the government. Let us all work together to discover the truth. First and foremost, we would like to welcome Candice, an R&B engineer. Welcome.
When I was young, my body was very poor, and from time to time, I had a bad cold, and I had to go to the hospital to get an IV. At that time, the health insurance card was a paper card, and the hospital stamp was stamped on the back. I changed it sequentially from A to G or H for a few years in my impression. The poor health made my family very troubled. On the advice of my relatives, my entire family went to Tai Ji Men to practice Qigong and cultivate the mind. When I was 9 years old, I joined the Tai Ji Men family in June 1996. The brothers and sisters in the practice room with me were all around my age. The practice went extremely well. We worked hard at Qigong, sang loudly, and shared our feelings freely. Because all of the brothers and sisters were young, the assisting brothers and sisters will use a variety of methods to lead us, including games, singing, group discussions, and situational stimulations to strengthen our spiritual development. Every training is a purification of the body and soul. However, such a happy day lasted only about a half year before a false case occurred in Tai Ji Men. Despite the fact that it occurred more than 20 years ago, the most impressive aspect was that all major newspapers and media outlets exaggerated their coverage of Tai Ji Men case. We couldn't even go to Tai Ji Men Academy at the time because we were too afraid to wear our uniforms, let alone practice Qigong. Many things have changed since that day. When we were able to return to the academy, we made a hard lotus, Chinese knots, and sang song Love, which was full of hard edges for shifu and shimu, as well as many brothers and sisters. We wrote a donation recognize and donation statements from the beginning to prove our innocence, and now we write submissions to vindicate unresolved cases. We began to practice martial arts and strengthen our bodies. Shifu combined the strength and beauty of Asian martial arts with elements of modern arts to create a new movement in martial arts performance. That demonstrates the goodness of Tai Ji Men and proves to the world that Tai Ji Men is a main part of Qigong martial arts. During these years, I became a member of the Tax and Legal Reform Log. I discovered that there are many ordinary people who suffer as a result of the Ministry of Financial Security tax politics, leading to unfortunate lives like ours. Once upon a time, the Tai Ji Men 1219 isn't the regular practice this pure and joyful, but it has since been brought by various tax case relative information collection, sharing, discussion practices, writing submissions, perform participation, and so on. However, with Shifu's guidance, I realized that this is a type of practice that is beneficial not only to the Tai Ji Men deeds, but to entire Taiwanese people. The tax system has also been thoroughly examined. Year after year, our practicing parading grows in size thanks to the 1219 parade. More and more disaster-affected households as well as like-minded friends will no longer remain silent and will take part in the activity on the December 19th. I always spend a lot of time preparing for this day, gathering simple slogans and stay up late to make props. Even if December 19 is a working day and I cannot request time off, I try to attend the activity as soon as I get off work. even if I can only participate in parts of it. Every time I see the goods in the parade, sing the test perform songs, and see the hardworking scholars and volunteers on the stage, waving flags and flashlights, I look forward to it, hoping that our case will be vindicated right away.
Candy, thank you for sharing your stories with us. Just now, Candy stated that the Tai Ji Men 1219 incident is an unjust case that has been dragging out for 25 years. A quarter century is a long time. Tai Ji Men brothers and sisters have been looking forward to rehabilitating an unjust case as soon as possible. We're also turning their own experience into a boost to help social for the past 25 years. Who Stole Their Youngs is a book written by some citizens journalists about their 25-year mental journey. The book also includes common sense laws and taxations, which is beneficial to the general public. Let us now hear what the author has to say.
I had fluctuating emotions reading this book. How could there be such absurd government? Really, absurd, absurd, absurd. It's just so out of the world. In real life, you're not satisfied with the service, you make a complaint to the customer service center, and immediately you get a phone call of an apology, and that's how it works. But it does not work with our government. While I was reading this book, two things came to my mind. What an absurd government! And what if it was me who had to face such absurdity? What was I supposed to do? Could I sustain 24 years? Could you? You or me may not endure a year or two, or even just a month, 2 months, right? All inequalities and injustices that exist in our society are unbearable, just like the painful declaration on the back cover of this book. Who knew our beloved country could hurt us so? Our tears were exhausted. Many people who were involved have passed away. We won't compromise anymore. We will bravely unveil the unreasonable administrative remedy system that traps people and makes them go in circles. People are going in circles and couldn't find a way out because they are fighting against the government machine that blocks the way. There is a huge black hole in Taiwan's taxation system. No one dared to reveal it before. But now I believe this case will definitely be redressed because the heaven and earth are watching. I believe injustice will eventually be rectified. I won't allow the truth to be treated as lies. I sincerely hope that Taiwan will become a country that truly values human rights, so that my children and grandchildren will be able to continue to live on this land of democracy and freedom. This is how I felt while I was going through this book. I very much want to terminate this absurd case. I decline to waste any more of my life on such absurdity. Over the years, I have noticed that the content of bestseller books usually benefits others as well as the author himself. Writing what one loves is self-benefiting. Loving it so much, then sharing is benefiting others. A book that benefits the author as well as the readers is an influential one. Most important of all, books should inspire people. This book inspires us to bravely move forward. It also inspires those who encounter difficulties to persevere. I believe this book will contribute greatly to the society and the country. It won't let down the heaven and earth. And hopefully, heaven and earth will help solve this case. Thank you all.
Books should inspire people, said the author of Who Stole Their Young. This book motivates us to take bold stands forward. It also encounters those who face difficulties to preserve. Tai Ji Men hope to use their own servants to help Taiwan's taxation situation. Many previously unknown facts will be revealed in this book. Then I'd like to welcome Dora, a high school student, and the other co-speakers. It's all yours, Dora.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dora, and I am a 17-year-old high school student. Tai Ji Men has been my home for as long as I can remember. Tai Ji Men appears to be a second home to me. I've learned a lot of things that I wouldn't have learned in school. Our course lesson plate number was 1219 when I was a kid. My parents told me that December 19th is a special day for us, and that they want my brother and me to remember it for the rest of our lives. I was too young to understand the significance of this date. All I knew was that whenever my parents mentioned it, their faces fell and they began to cry. It wasn't until I was 6 years old, when my parents drove us to Taipei to join the protest in front of the presidential palace, that I realized that on December 19, 1996, there was a prosecutor who illegally searched Tai Ji Men and even indicted Tai Ji Men with no evidence and no legal basis. Claiming that Tai Ji Men committed tax evasion, the National Taxation Bureau issued Tai Ji Men a large tax bill as a result of this ridiculous litigation. At the time, this case was making headlines throughout Taiwan, and the entire society believed Tai Ji Men was wrong. Tai Ji Men became the type of organization that no one wanted to join. The Supreme Administrative Court had already ruled in 2007 that Tai Ji Men had done nothing illegal. We all thought it was time to call it quits after the verdict. And despite the fact that the Supreme Administrative Court had confirmed the verdict, the National Taxation Bureau ignored the court's decision, refusing to revoke the tax bill. Ironically, the court is supposed to be the highest judicial unit in the country, and even government agencies have to abide by the court's ruling. But the NTB in Taiwan can ignore the court's ruling. I thought that by protesting once, we could force our government to resolve our case as soon as possible, but I was wrong. Our government ignored our protest and request, but we did not give up. We kept returning to the front of the presidential palace in the following years. The NTB canceled 5 tax bills in 2019, but still left one uncancelled. The NTB and the Administrative Enforcement Agency even illegally auctioned off Tai Ji Men's secure land for self-cultivation and took it into state ownership in August of 2020. Many people will argue that I'm too young to be protesting this type of thing. This incident was a big deal at the time it happened, and it also caused many people to have negative comments about Tai Ji Men. As I mentioned earlier, Tai Ji Men is like a second home to me. I don't want my house to be chastised for unjustified reason. As a result, I'm writing to urge the government to resolve the unjust case of Tai Ji Men as soon as possible. At the same time, I hope that no one else is subject to similar persecution.
Dora, thank you for telling us your story. Taiwan appeared to be a free and democratic country. However, there are many examples of persecution that we are unaware of because they are occurring in places where we are unable to witness them. Tai Ji Men case isn't the only one. It is an example of a problem with a country's tax structure. It is also a mirror of Taiwanese justice and tax law, revealing to people all over the world the dark side of Taiwanese tax law. However, we can see hope for Taiwan's transition from today's speakers, as well as hope that this violation can be eliminated. At the end of the forum, let's listen to a song called What is the Truth About the Tai Ji Men Case, to better understand the entire story of legal and fiscal injustice.
二官下台！二官下台！
What is the truth about the Tai Ji Men case? Taiwan Supreme Court Tai Ji Men, guilty of tax evasion or any other charges. The National Tax Bureau and the Ministry of Finance reneged on their promise to refund the tax bill. The National Tax Bureau illegally auctioned off the sacred land of Tai Ji Men. The land was illegally taken into state ownership. Where is the real government officials' conscience? Where are justice and human rights? What is the truth about the Tai Ji Men case? Taiwan Supreme Court found Tai Ji Men guilty of tax evasion or any other charges. The National Tax Bureau and the Ministry of Finance reneged on their promise to refund the tax bill. The National Tax Bureau illegally auctioned off the sacred land of Tai Ji Men. The land was illegally taken into state ownership.